What's up, party animals? You made it to our grand finale through our wild adventure of trophic levels. Let's buckle up for some review, but first, let's understand our terms. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process used by plants to create their own food. Plants use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create glucose and oxygen. While we breathe in the oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide for the plants. What is a heterotroph and autotroph? Heterotrophs are organisms that can't make their own food, so they must get energy by eating other plants and animals to survive. That's what we are. Autotrophs are plants and some types of bacteria that can make their own food by capturing the sun's energy through photosynthesis. What is a carnivore, omnivore, and herbivore? Carnivores are animals that can only eat other animals to get energy, like a lion. Omnivores are animals that can eat both plants and meat to get energy, like a bear. And herbivores are animals that can only eat plants for energy, like a deer. What are primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers? Primary consumers are animals that eat the primary producers, the plants, and they can be herbivores or omnivores. Secondary consumers are organisms that can eat primary consumers. To break this down further, they can be classified as carnivores or an omnivore. And tertiary consumers are animals that obtain their nutrients by eating the primary consumers and secondary consumers. Usually, they're the carnivores. Finally, what is an apex predator? Apex predators are known as the top predator in the food pyramid. They don't have any natural predators of their own, and they occupy the highest trophic level. Now, let's look at the trophic levels. The first trophic level is the producers, the plants. The second trophic level are the primary consumers, usually the herbivores. The third is the secondary consumers, usually omnivores, sometimes carnivores. And the fourth is the tertiary consumer, aka the apex predator and carnivores. Now, let's not forget about our 10% rule. Remember, only 10% of energy goes to each trophic level. Here's an energy flow chart to help understand a little bit better. Now, let's talk about the other roles in the food pyramid. What is a scavenger and decomposer? Scavengers are organisms that consume mostly decaying biomass such as meat or rotting plant matter. While decomposers, on the other hand, are things like fungi, bacteria, and vertebrae. Think of FBI to remember. They break down the dead matter and waste of other animals. While the two may be similar, they're completely different, as a scavenger is an animal. What are keystone species? Now, we did not talk about this in the other videos, but keystone species are organisms that help define an entire ecosystem. Without a keystone species, the ecosystem will probably cease to exist. An example can be bees, otters, or hummingbirds. Without them, the food chain might fall apart. Now, let's look at the food web. First, let's recall the food chains. Food chains follow a path as animals eat each other from shrub to rabbit to fox. Now, let's look at this in a food web. This shows how all the food chains and ecosystem can be connected. So shrub to deer or rabbit, and then the rabbit can go to the lion, or the deer can go to the lion, or the deer can go to the tiger, and the rabbit can go to the tiger, and it can go on and on and on. Let's test your knowledge by answering these questions. Pause the video. A producer could be the orange tree, and a herbivore can be the mouse, and there are two secondary consumers. Thank you for watching.